Happy Wednesday, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. Audrey, shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. It is Wednesday, May the 4th, 2022, day 99. Y'all, we already day 99. Day 99 of year 4. Time flies. Day 99 of year 4 of the 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1117. 1117. Today, we're going to start a new chapter in the Oahspe on page 59, and then we're going to pick up where we left off at in the meditation book on page 95. Let's get started. Father, we're here another day. Continue leading us and guiding us into all truth as we search for you, to return to you with our full heart, soul, mind, body, worshiping you in spirit and in truth. That's our main goal here. Not just worshiping Yah, finding Yah in spirit, but also searching for him and worshiping him in truth, right? Not ignorance. Shayla, hey girl, hey, that's Bible. All right, y'all. Page 59. Okay, the book of Aph, Son of Jehovah. So remember, this is where the Oahspe begins to split, right? For this shot. Oh my goodness, it's fogging up. Hold on. Okay, so with this book, it's not a split book. The book of Aph is not a split book, but it's split here with the Lord's first book. So at the top of the page, you got the heavenly account, and then the book at the bottom tells of the earthly account simultaneously. And from the front of the book, we are to read the heavenly portion first, starting here and going all the way to the end of the chapter. So in the book of Aph, if it's like 14 chapters, we read those 14 chapters first. Then we come back to page 59 and we begin reading the Lord's first book. And I'll show you if you don't have it. I'll show you how I split. Hold on. Trina, hey girl, hey. Auntie Grand Rising. Okay. So here's how it is split. And it has a line going through here. And this book, the Lord's first book, is actually shorter than this book. So at a certain point, a few pages forward, the split stops, and you can tell where it ends because when this book ends down at the bottom, it'll say end of the book of the first Lords. And it'll do the same thing if it end at the top first. It'll say end of the book of whatever the top book is that ends before the bottom book. So when you get to that portion of it, you go back and start the bottom book. If the top book ended first, y'all get it. Okay. Oh, great spirit, creator of this spirit and our physical body, teach us your ways. Hallelujah. I love your little prayer. Every day you come in, as everybody can see, I make it a part of all of our day, right? So I love reading those out loud. And anybody that do a prayer, I read every comment anyway. So if it's a prayer, it's gonna be read by default, right? I'll scan it real quick before I read it with my eyes, make sure you ain't trying to slip in a little incantation or something. All right, y'all. Chapter 1, Book of Aph, Son of Jehovah. Alicia, yeah. So, girl. Okay. The subtitle is Being the Heavenly Records of Aph, APH, Aph is spelled APH, Son of Jehovah, and of his companion, Ninya, daughter of Jehovah, as pertaineth to the submersion of the continent of Waga, afterward called Pan, signifying earth. And this period was commonly called the deluge or flood of waters. Everybody has a deluge story, right? Or a flood story. This is giving more detail about this. But where have we heard the name Ninya before, right? In the Lost Book of Enki and the Complete Anunnaki Bible. That name is familiar. Ninya. Okay. Chapter 1. In the time of the world, 24,000 years before the Cosmic era, the great serpent or the solar phalanx, being in the ark of Noah, maybe it's Noah, it's Noe. I'm going to just say no, right? In the time of the world, 24,000 years before the cosmic era, the great serpent, or solar phalanx, being in the ark of Noah in the Etherian heavens, and of the sum of Haut and Gia, 87, the earth and her heavens were in great darkness. But the Spirit of Jehovah moved upon his high raised God, Off, and Ethera, to consecrate new dominions on earth and her heavens. Off said, I, Off, son of Jehovah, God in the ark of Noah, and some of Houts and Ethera, came to Haddah, heaven of the red star, in Jehovah's name, in his wisdom, power, and love, manifested in mine own resurrection, to become companion to gods and goddesses and Orion chiefs on the thrones of high heaven, proclaim to the atmosphere and spirits of the earth, and to the spirits of the first, second, and third resurrections, abiding on earth or near thereto, either with mortals or without, and to their God and Lords, and to their Savior, and to all the holy ones by Jehovah, raised up for the redemption of men and angels. And the ark of Noah came to me the voice of Jehovah, creator of worlds, saying, I am the all highest, my service extendeth forever. I go not, but I am afar. I come not, yet I am near. I am the oh, my voice is in all places. The light of the soul of man heareth me. I speak in the vine that creepeth, and in the standing and in the strong standing oak. Hear the voice of your Creator, O ye angels of heaven. Carry ye the wisdom of my utterance down to mortals. Call them to the glories of heavens and to the broad earth. Behold, my voice is in the rocks, and in the wind that bloweth, and in all things that have not tongues. Show them my suns and stars in the firmament above, for they are my written words. My voice proceedeth in the space of heaven. The wise angels of my exalted places hear the sound going forth. Hearken to my speech, O ye spirits of the dead. Proclaim me, O ye gods and goddesses. For they look for me as they look for things. They hearken for my voice as for a man's voice, and they find me not, nor hear that which I have spoken. Yet none can efface my words. My wisdom endureth forever. Behold, I come not as a sound to the ear. My voice hieth into the souls from all sides. Teach them, O ye angels, they look not in the right way. Their ears are turned after loud clasps and noises. They cry aloud, alas, I hear not the voice of Jehovah. He hath not spoken. His voice hath no man heard. He is the all silent and dumber than the things he created. Well, I tell you, people can be so slow when they don't when they don't understand Yah, right? They say he is dumber than all the things created. Not they, but those who can't hear said that. Robin, great and beautiful day. Okay, let me see. Let me read this again. Show them, I'm on verse 7, page 60, at the top. Show them my sons and stars in the firmament above, for they are my written words. My voice proceedeth in the space of heaven. The wise angels of my exalted places hear the sound going forth. Hearken to my speech, O ye spirits of the dead. Proclaim me, O ye gods and goddesses. They look for me as they look for things. They hearken for my voice as for a man's voice, and they find me not, nor hear that which I have spoken, yet none can efface my words. My wisdom endureth forever. Behold, I come not as a sound to the ear. My voice hieth into the soul from all sides, meaning to hear the voice. I mean, all of us here understand that, right? We hear Yah coming from the inside of us. Elijah, what's going on, son? Okay. Teach them, O ye angels, they look not in the right way. Their ears are turned after loud clasp and noises. They cry out, alas, I hear not the voice of Jehovah. He hath not spoken. His voice hath no man heard. He is the all silent and the dumber and dumber than the things he created. They have turned away from my God and my Lord's. In conceit and darkness have they shut themselves up. They have peopled the air of the earth about with spirits of darkness, the druhas of men of darkness and cannibals. Their feetles float back upon them like devouring vermin. They burrow deep in pollution. Remember them, O God, my son, and ye, my lords of the earth. Have no pity, but be as a surgeon's knife upon them. Thou hast told them, O God, Jehovah liveth and reigneth. His voice standeth the all highest. But they have mocked thee and thy lords, and turned away after iniquity. They are fearful. They are fearful, lest they believe in my person and my voice. Of their own gabble, they have no fear. They criticize me and my gods and my lords, but they own, hold on, but they own that they do not know me. They suppose my exalted heavens are without order and discipline. My captains they ignore, and the teachings of my holy ones are criticized by men of straw. Father, forgive us all, right? Because I know I completely spoke in ignorance about a lot of things that I did not understand. Father, forgive me. They suppose my exalted heavens are without order and discipline. My captains they ignore, and the teachings of my holy ones are criticized by men of straw. Have they not said, who is God that I should adore, and the Lord that I should hearken? But I turn their eyes to the armies of the earth, to the armies of earth, to the general and the captain. Then they say, ah, our affairs on earth are officered and disciplined. We reverence our highest great captains. Shall they turn God away and the Lord? What shall the Creator do to please them? Is not the name of my general, and after my general, he has God in parentheses, and my captain, and after captain, he has Lord in parentheses. Is not the name of my general God, and my captain Lord, my own creation? Who found the name of God and the name of Lord? Why are they not pleased with my gods and my lords? Hear me, O ye Etherian gods and goddesses. They desire not wisdom and resurrection. Their love lieth in darkness, to eat, to sleep, and to devour are the delights of their souls. The first lesson of life they have not learned. The first heaven of earth is to them the all of created worlds. Read that again. Hear me, O ye Etherian gods and goddesses. They desire not wisdom and resurrection. Their love lieth in darkness. To eat, to sleep, and to devour are the delights of their souls. The first lesson of life they have not learned. The first heaven of the earth is to them the all of the created worlds, meaning that they think just the level above it is just it, right? It's not it. That's the first level you're born into. Mob, shalom, shalom. After you leave here, like when you die, you are born into the spirit world and you take on your true form, right? Because here, this is just the car we drive, right? Just to transverse this realm, right? But we are literally, the earth is a womb for us. Just like we carry a baby in our womb, after the father passes it to us, it goes from one world to the next. We graduate from one world to the next. First, we went through it the other day, being the thought and the mind of our Creator, then Him passing that seed from His womb into the womb of man, or to his testes, or wherever they store it till He ready to release them, right? Then it moves from the Father's world to the mother's world, and thus they began to live in that world and grow and develop as they should, right? And once they got to the highest level they can get to it, now it's time for them to be born into this world, and thus we appear here. And we're here for a period of time until we get all that we should get, right? Hopefully, when we get here, we ain't aborted early, right? Hopefully, our father don't abort us, our physical father. Hopefully, our physical father don't abort us by just spewing us out on the ground. And hopefully the mother don't abort us, right? By killing the seed that was given to her. And hopefully we don't abort our own lives when we get here, right? And the process just goes on and on. We pass from womb to womb until we're fully developed. Once we're born into the unseen realm, which we call the spirit realm, there's still levels that you have to go, right? All the way up until you get to the level which is, I'm gonna just say, a billion years, because I can't really comprehend the time because there is no time there. But there is time that has to pass, although the time is different from here. It's super fast according to what we have here. You get to the level where you then can rule the house, right? And you are granted the title God. Those who are granted the title God or goddess, they are also called sons and daughters, right? True sons and daughters can get keys to the house. All right, I'm gonna leave you in charge for a little bit. I can see what you done did, right? What's going on in the house? Ain't nobody listening, right? And so you get a chance to see all the foolishness that the great creator has to deal with multiple worlds, right? And if you have sibling that you had to babysit, you get a little taste of that early in life, right? Alazar, Shalom, Betwabu, Zoe. Okay, let's jump back here. Verse 15, we're on page 61. The book of Af, son of Jehovah. This is during his reign, his rule of the earth. Hear me, O ye Etherian gods and goddesses. They desire not wisdom and resurrection. Talking about the kids that they got to babysit here at the house that they can't get control of, right? Ain't nobody listening. Hear me, O ye Etherian gods and goddesses. They desire not wisdom and resurrection. Their love lieth in darkness. To eat, to sleep, and to devour are the delights of their souls. The first lesson of life they have not learned. The first heaven of the earth is to them the all of the created worlds. Hear my judgment upon them, O ye, my holy angels, and long risen. For I have raised them up again and again. I have founded lower heavens for them that they might learn, but they fall the moment my gods leave them alone. Now will I carry away their heaven and earth, and they shall be seen no more forever. But the Druhas and the Fetals shall be carried to Huatan and cast into walls of fire. And right here it has reference letter A, the walls of fire. Remember, the number references are at the bottom of the page. The letter references are at the end of the book. Okay. Wait. Okay. But the Druhas and Fetals shall be carried to Huatan. Huatan is spelled Hautuon. But the Druhas and the Fetals shall be carried to Huatan and cast into walls of fire. And reference letter A says, these lights are seen in a small way in spirit circles, and they form in heaven boundaries for certain dominions. This is most likely the original rendering of casting spirits into darkness into a place from which there was no escape. We read about that in the Bible. However, they were placed there for their own safety, not for punishment, right? Okay, so remember yesterday we came across that portion to where I said that sounds like the hell teaching in Christianity. Okay, Alicia. It sounds like the hell teaching in Christianity and a couple other places. But according to this, right, we're still putting everything on the table. We're seeing everything through. Hell is not just a chamber or a place to be locked away, like we hear about in the Greek mythology, right? To be burned forever, like there is no escape. But according to what we read, it's a place where the spirits of darkness, or the wicked spirits, or which are humans, right? And their spirits have just developed in the darkest ways. They were sent to that place and they were chambered in. And in that place, it says that they're given the opportunity to be purged of all the evil and stuff. So until they make it through that, it's like going to detention, right? Nah, bro, I'm writing you up. Let's go down to the office. Matter of fact, Take your own slip with you down to the office. We need to separate you from everybody else. It's going to detention or ISS, right? That's essentially what it is until you learn a little bit better. We need to purge you all this. And while you're here, you're going to be learning. You ain't just, the spirits ain't down there just flying around, tormenting everybody else that come. No, that's movies, y'all. That's foolishness. It's another place of learning, probably a little bit more strict place. And you probably got a strict taskmaster there. Okay, now let's see. Well, what you done did? Wait a minute. What? Oh, bro, you gonna be here a while. Okay. All right. You ain't gonna like it, but you're gonna be better for it when you leave here, right? Okay. So that's what that says. Let's go back. Verse 17, I read again. Now will I carry away their heaven and earth, and they shall be seen no more forever. But the Druhas and Phedals shall be carried to Huatan and cast into walls of fire, and they shall be divided into groups. Kin shall be torn away from kin, and friend from friend, and mother from daughter, and father from son, for they are become as absorbents, sucking one another continually. That sounds like the portion in the New Testament, right? Father against son, daughter against mother against daughter. I read it again. Okay, so when you go to Huatan, like if you was known to be clicked up with family members, because you get some cousins that click up together, ain't gonna be none of that. We're gonna separate y'all. That's what's happening when you come here. Because y'all sucking each other energy, y'all hyping each other up. We need to separate y'all. Bro, I'm telling you, it's a big school down here. And daycare for the hard-headed ones. I'll read it again. I keep going. Now will I carry away their heaven and earth, and they shall be seen no more forever. But the Druhas and the Phedals shall be carried to Huatan and cast into walls of fire, and they shall be divided up into groups. Kin shall be torn away from kin, and friend from friend, and mother from daughter, and father from son, for they are become as absorbents, sucking one another continually. And the walls of fire shall go up around them without ceasing, and they shall not escape. And they that guard them shall keep them from one another, that they shall do no evil. Neither shall they sleep nor rest, but be stirred up and made to know that they are alive and can exist independent of fetal sucking. This is clearly hell. And when people have those out-of-body experiences or say they done went to hell, this is a place that they done visited, right? But according to Christian teaching, we call that hell. I done visited hell. You can't tell me that hell don't exist. I've been there. Okay, well, we know the book of Enoch talk about it too. They talk about it too. Okay, you just call it something else, right? Let's keep going. And the walls of fire shall go up around them without ceasing, and they shall not escape. And they that guard them shall keep them from one another, that they shall do no evil. Neither shall they sleep nor rest, but be stirred up and made to know that they are alive and can exist independent of fetal sucking. Hear my voice, O God, and command thy Lord to proclaim on the earth. Have I not made an example before mortals? Behold, the carrion that rotteth in the field. Is it not the feast of the hyena, the wolf, and the buzzard? Do not worms come to life therein and turn to and devour the carcass that brought them forth? What more is the earth, Pan, to these spirits of evil and darkness? What more is their first heaven and what more is the first heaven than a place of perpetual devouring? Have they not made it a place of everlasting destruction? They visit their evils upon mortals. The young child cannot escape them, nor the middle age, nor the old man, nor old woman. The heavenly kingdoms founded by gods and lords have become pest houses for Druhas and Phedals. There is no place left for founding the upright and virtuous in heart. Are my gods and lords servants to an evil world? And shall they find only rottenness to deal with? Now have I answered in the firmament of my holy sons and daughters. I have called them from remote places in heaven to witness the work of my hand. For as I made the earth and its heaven, so rule I over it to the same end for which I created it. When they are short of my measure, I lengthen them out. That's good. Oh, that's good. I might use that for our title today. Hell got to be in the title too. I'm going to figure it out, y'all. When they are short of my measure, I lengthen them out. When they run foul, I prune them to my own liking, for they are mine. Behold, the fool hath said, Jehovah hath made a failure. Behold, the Creator created a world for a certain purpose, but it ran foul of his mark. Hear me, O God, and through thy Lord's answer thou him in his conceit. Did I not quicken man into life in mine own way? At zero created I him, and I said, Two roads have I made, O man. One leadeth to everlasting light, and the other to everlasting darkness. Now have I shown him the darkness. It is my witness, whereby man knoweth my word is all truth. Wherefore then should I not create the world and man and angels that they go down into everlasting darkness? Is it not by darkness and pain I push man forward? Oh, that's good. So everybody having a hard time in life, listen. Hard times make you a little bit stronger. If you don't fall into the pity party, you just got to push past it. And mean you are not sound in some areas. Use it as your sounding board, right? It's your sandpaper to strengthen you, right? But you got to make the right moves. You got to learn how to make the right moves, right? Sometimes we keep going in a circle. We keep bumping our head against the wall. This is not the right way. This is not the right way. This is not the right way. And if you're truly insane, you're going to do that a few more times. Boom, this is not the right way. Boom, this is not the right way. Boom, this is not the right way. Oh my God, my head hurt. Boom, this is not the right way. Boom, this is not the right way. Some people do that for a lifetime and leave here with a big head. They got a big noggin, not because they gained wisdom, but because you were completely foolish. You kept running into that same wall. Did you think you would break through it? Nobody has ever gotten through my wall. You got to turn around. Time to do a 180. But you do a 360 all the way around. Boom, this is not the right way. Boom, this is not the right. Okay. Verse 25, page 62 at the top. Now have I shown him the darkness. It is my witness, whereby man knoweth my word is all truth. Wherefore then should I not create the world and man and angels, that they go down in everlasting darkness? Is it not by darkness and pain I push man forward? Yea, the conceited man would fail himself, but for the failures I set up before him. Wherefore then have I not created wisely? Have I not a right to do my own way? Are not all things mine? If a man die in the corporal part, is he a failure? How else could man rise to my ethereal worlds? Open his eyes, O my God and my Lords. He was not, and I created him. He presumeth to look into my plans and judgments. By his little learning, he exalteth his conceit and pretendeth to know all things. I cause the grain to grow in the field, and the day before it is ripe, I send wind and rains and destroy it utterly. I bring forth man with shapely limbs and strong arms, but in the day of his prime, I cut him down. I gave the passion of love to the mother, but I take away her firstborn. Know I not that Know I not that first of all things man shall be taught to know my power, and after that my wisdom? Have they seen the places of the dead, and hell and destruction? Teach them, O God, for their ultimate resurrection is my glory and my delight. Shall man of the earth say, the Creator was angry, and so sent the land beneath the ocean? He hath not wisdom to comprehend that this day I cast out hell and destruction. The Druge is his love, and as vampires, they feed on each other to the ruin of both. But I know what is for their own good, and my decree hath gone forth. So we at 29 minutes. Oh man, we're at 29 minutes. That was just chapter 1. Oh, let me read chapter 2. It ain't that long. I'm going to read chapter 2. Okay. Chapter 2. I, Af, son of Jehovah, high dwelling in the Ethereal worlds and oft trained in the change and tumult of corporal worlds, answered Jehovah, saying, Father of worlds, Jehovah Almighty, thy son and thy servant have heard thy voice. Behold, my head is bowed and my knee bent to rush forth with 1,000,000,000 force to the suffering earth and Hada. Hear me, O angels of the earth's heaven. From Jehovah's everlasting kingdoms I speak, and by his power reveal. Again, his voice coursed the high heavens along where angels dwell, older than the earth. Jehovah said, Hear me, O ye chieftains, and Or and of Ut, and in the plains of Gibrath the Tova. Proclaim my word to thy host of swift messengers of Wakawak. WAUK apostrophe AWAUK. Okay. I am an adult, truly I am. Proclaim my word to thy host of swift messengers of Wakawak and Beliathon and Dor, and they shall speed it abroad in the Aegean mouths of Mentabra and Cax of Gal. Hear my voice, O ye goddess of Ho Itavi and of Via the Yoni Ram in the Etherian arcs of Faz and Legi, Legi, I think, and Omazah. Proclaim my decrees of the red star and her heavens and the crash of her rebellious sides, for I will harvest the forests of Seth and Ram. Remember, the red star is the earth. Hear my voice, O ye homunculots of millions of years standing and managers of corporeal worlds. I have proclaimed the ooze and his hiss. I'm sorry. I have proclaimed the ooze and hiss of the red star in her pride and glory. And after glory, it says be. And you know what this reminds me of? When it says in the power of your worlds, it reminds me when we were reading Legends of the Jews. And every time they cried out to Yah, they say, Oh, great God of all the created worlds, right? So I'm like, and when I read it, I just kept reading it. I just like, of course, if there are multiple worlds, it would be him that created it. I never said anything about it, but it was just something about it. Every time it said it just, I don't know, it just shook me down deep in my shana. I knew it was something to it, but I never brought it up. But I just, I just pondered and thought about it. But this is talking about some of the other created worlds, right? And we know that Earth is not the first and only one. Clearly, we're not, right? We know we're not if we have experience of talking to those in the spiritual realm. We know that there are other worlds beside us, right? Even if we don't know how many, we know that there's more than us because it's another realm that communicates with us and we hear and they show and it happens. They give us wisdom, right? Okay. Reference letter B after glory. And see, I have proclaimed the ooze and I'm sorry, I keep saying that his. I have proclaimed the ooze and hiss of the red star in her pride and glory. And so we're going to the end of the book to look up letter B. Letter B says, Af is saying in this phrase that in spite of the fact that Earth is young and therefore should be at its best, pride and glory, he is observing overwhelming base worldliness, ooze, and declination and lust, hiss. Book of Soph, chapter 1, Simon. Okay, so, okay. Ooze means overwhelming base worldliness, and his is declension or a downward spiral and lust. Okay. See Book of Soph, chapter 1, Simon. Should we read the whole chapter? Let's see. Let me just look and see. It's a chapter 1. It don't give a verse. I mean, we gonna have to read the whole chapter. Where we at? Let's see. Book of Soph is Sapha, chapter 1, Simone, 5:16. Let's see how long it is, y'all. I probably should have just stopped when I got the end of chapter 1. I know I was going to have to look up all this. Okay. Introduction. Chapter 1. Oh, that's real long. I think we read, no, we went to verse 34 when it was talking about panic. The Ayesu, a young child that has not sinned. Okay. This is like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is like, we're not gonna read all this. This is like, this chapter is like a glossary of terms each. Oh, okay, I found it. Okay, so we ain't gonna read the whole thing. We're just gonna read his. And okay, so his is on page 523. But let me just read it. Okay, his. It's on verse 22 on page 523. Ooze and hiss. Okay. Hiss. Hiss. Serpent's word. He maketh noise like the wind. Who can distinguish between the voice of Eolin and the hiss that kills? From the two evil corners above, the hiss descendeth. His food is of the earth, that the temp that that tempteth to the earth is his. The hiss that crawleth have I made as an emblem of the hiss that teacheth lust or panic. Hiss, chine. Hees, Hees, Algonquin. Cives, Vede, Vede. The sign of treachery, of poison unseen, a danger that man cannot heal. First I made poison air, from that I made poisonous weeds, and from them I made his. To crawl on his belly commanded I him. The lowest made I him. He biteth himself and dieth therefrom. Abraham. The sum of evil is to be its own destroyer. Confucius. Okay, let's find ooze. If this is in alphabetical order, it doesn't really look like it is. Maybe it is in some kind of way. Hissa, panic, a lawyer, one whose soul is full of serpents, the figure of a man with the serpent's head issuing. Yisaga, Vedi. Okay. I'm trying to find ooze. U-Z. I don't see it, y'all. Maybe when we get to this part, we'll come across it, but I didn't skim through it. And he said chapter 1, that's the end of chapter 1. Okay, so we're going to go back. Druk, Susa, It's a UZ, but it got UH. Well, UH is evil spirit. Panic, Yua, poet, Ku, Fanis, Kuwach, Ibra, the evil that is above us. Yugi, Chine, evil spirits who love evil. Zeuk, Vede, Use, Ki, Hu, Algonquin. Okay. Oh, wait. Hoi. The penetrable and impenetrable, the create and the ooze, panic, joy, or woe, gal. We're gonna come back to it because I don't see it. I see it scattered, but it's not. I don't think it's given its definition. Okay, so let's go back. I read this verse again. We'll keep going to the end of this chapter. I have proclaimed the ooze and hiss of the red star in her pride of glory. Send word abroad in the highway of Plymouth go to the great high gods, main Taff in the Ethereum vortices of Bane, and to Rome, and to the Nesh al Tuaza, and Duji. Hear me, O ye Orion kings and queens of thousands of millions of gods and goddesses. I have spoken in the Savorcum of the great serpent of the sun. A wave of my breath speedeth forth in the broad firmament. The red star flieth toward the point of my whetted sword. Proclaim my voice in the Orion fields of Amal and Wawa. Wawa is a gas station here in Virginia. They have the best smoothies. Like now, I normally don't eat food from a gas station, even if they got like a Subway. It just tastes gas stationy to me. But a Wawa, bruh, don't let me see a Wawa. I will forsake all others and go to Wawa. Not only do they got good gas, they got good food and smoothies too. I'm just saying it. Y'all in Virginia, y'all know about Wawa. That has nothing to do with today's reading, but proclaim my voice in the Orion fields of Amal and Wawa. Let the clear-tongued shepherds of Zeus and Burke and Gob and Dom Fariana fly with all speed in the road of Axyaya, where first the red star's vortex gathered up its nebula millions of years agone, and on the way say, Jehovah hath decreed a pruning knife to a traveling world shouted abroad in the crystal heavens of the summering lords of Wak and Gi and Mongo and Uttal, called them to the red star speeding forth. Lo, she skipped as a lamb to be shorn. Her coming shock lieth slumbering low. Let them carry the sound of my voice to the Geayan swamps of exploded worlds, boiling in the roar of elements, where wise angels and gods explore to find the mystery of my handiwork. Tell them I have spoken, and the earth and her heavens, near the trolls and the Etherian seas of my rich yielding worlds. I will scoop her up as a toy, and her vertex shall close about like a serpent hungry for its prey. Proclaim it in Thessa and Kau and Tinwakwak, and send them to Gitchen Farm of Januk and Dun. Hear me, O ye Chris Helmatas Hodak, who have witnessed the creation of many worlds and their going out. Open your gardens and your mansions. The sign of my fishing pole is stretched. Countless millions of druhas and fiddles will fall into my net. My voice have gone forth in Chimgao and Lu and Abroth and Huatavi and Coots of Mas and the wide Etherian fields of Rododowski. Haleb hath heard me. Borg, Ham, Z, and Luth of the Orion homestead, and Chor, whence emanate the central tones of music from goddesses older than the corporal worlds. To them, the crash of worlds is as a note created and is rich in stirring the memory with things long past. I have spoken, and my breath is a floating world. My speech is written in the lines where travel countless millions of suns and stars, and in the midst of the Etherian firmament of the homes of gods. Let them shout to the ends of the universe, invite them in my name to the Haidan of Muak Biangjao. Around about in the place of the great serpent, send swift messengers with the words of my decree. Bring the lords and the gods of Wan and Anna and Anacron and Sith. Call up Gad and Adonia and Etizii and Onezii and the host of the upraised for the past time of Jehovah's sons and daughters in the high heavens draweth near. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of chapter 2. We'll pick it back up on chapter 3 tomorrow on page 64. That was good, Lavon. Shalom, shalom. Robin said, right on, even though I'm in Maryland, I do agree about the Wawa. Girl, yes. Okay. But one time I had to break myself from my Wawa addiction because this is one particular smoothie or it's like a frappuccino that they have. I found myself addicted to, like I used to be addicted to Starbucks. Like every day I had to stop past Starbucks, right? And when I broke that addiction, I got hooked on Wawa smoothies, the caramel chocolate chip frap, right? Oh my goodness. It is so good. Yeah. So after about going to Wawa for like a month straight a little while ago, I was like, this is becoming a problem. And I add the little stuff. So every day, that's like $8. I say, this is worse than a cigarette habit, right? And this is probably why I can't get rid of the gut and the extra weight. Yeah, I'm a vegan. I said, but I probably should not be consuming this every day, right? So I have since then weaned myself from the everyday addiction of it. And I get it maybe like twice or thrice a week. That's still bad. It is still bad. Okay. Oh yeah, we got 45 minutes. We at 45 minutes. We got about 15 minutes left if we're gonna stick to our hour mark today. Okay. So we pause on page 95 after the karma and reincarnation section. I actually took a picture, that's a screenshot, and I posted it in the community section for those that don't have the book if you want to read over it, right? So but with that, you got the first page of the yoga and religion section that comes right after it. Okay. Yoga and religion. Yoga is the practice of mental, physical, and spiritual disciplines which lead to self control and self discovery by purifying the mind, body, and spirit so as to discover the deeper spiritual essence which lies within every human being and object in the universe. In essence, the goal of yoga practice is to unite or yoke one's individual consciousness with universal or cosmic consciousness, or if you've been churchified, we just call him cosmic universal consciousness, Yah, right? The supreme being, the great spirit. Therefore, ancient Egyptian religious practice, especially in terms of the rituals and other practices of the ancient Egyptian temple systems known as Shatu Neter, the way of the hidden supreme being, may be termed as a yoga system, Egyptian yoga. In this sense, religion in its purest form is a yoga system, and it seeks to reunite people with their true and original source. We definitely don't get that right teaching here in the West, right? And especially if they try and teach you or teach you to stay away from it in church, they just tell you it's all new age, stay away from it. You're going to get demon possessed, pretty much. That's the gist of what they teach, and that's completely wrong. It's completely backwards, right? In its complete form, religion is composed of three aspects: mythology, ritual, and metaphysical or mystical experience, mysticism dash mystical philosophy. While many religions contain rituals, traditions, metaphors, and myths, there are few professionals trained in the understanding of their deeper aspects and psychological implications, metaphysics and mystical, right? We get a lot of that, but in the church sometimes we don't really get that. Matter of fact, the word metaphysics is a trigger word in the church with some people because it just they automatically link it to their cult, right? And they still have the wrong understanding of what a cult is. A cult simply means hidden, right? But they just link these words together, and then when they think of cult, they think devil. Like all of this, it's just they just get you going down the wrong path. And certain words are trigger words, and they just don't even speak it. Don't, right? So while many religions contain rituals, traditions, metaphors, and myths, there are few professionals trained in the understanding of their deeper aspects and psychological implications, metaphysics and mystical. Thus, there is disappointment, frustration, and disillusionment among many followers as well as leaders within many religions, particularly in the Western Hemisphere, because it is difficult to evolve spiritually without the proper spiritual guidance. Don't they? Yep. Pico, shalom. They demonize everything. Listen, I like this. This might be our title today. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. Listen. There is disappointment, when you don't have people properly trained and teaching you the right way in church. Like you find a lot, all of us here, we done been at that point of frustration in the church. Like, what is really going on here? Y'all ain't really answering nothing. Y'all just doing all this hopping around, spitting and screaming, catching the Holy Ghost, being slain in the spirit. You ain't really teaching me nothing. Like, I got real questions. And it's a sin to raise your hand doing service to ask the pastor something. You don't question the man of God. Don't you dare get ushers, see him or her out the door. They disrupted my service. Oh, okay. Well, let's just try them Bible study then. Uh, no, I'm like, it's crazy, y'all. And when you have people like that teaching you, you can't learn anything. They demonize you, pull them out here, they disrupting. It's a mess. Not all places, most places that I've personally been in, there's probably been one place that I've ever been in that it's actually been okay to raise your hand and ask a question. Yes, like one place. One place. No, I take that back. Because earlier in my life, going to this place with my mom. Okay, so two places in my life where I've seen it was okay to raise your hand and ask a question doing service or doing Bible study. And we really got good teaching at those places too, right? Okay. I won't say the names of them, but but in most places that's like a big no-no, right? You can't do that for some reason or another. Okay, that when you don't have good teachers or good leaders teaching you, there is disappointment, frustration, disillusionment among many followers as well as leaders within many religions, particularly in the Western Hemisphere, because it is difficult to evolve spiritually without the proper spiritual guidance. Through introspection and spiritual research, it is possible to discover mythological vistas within religion which can rekindle the light of spirituality and at the same time increase the possibility of gaining a fuller experience of life. The exoteric or the outer ritualistic forms of religion, which in most people are familiar, is only the tip of an iceberg, so to speak. It is only a beginning, an invitation or prompting to seek a deeper, esoteric discovery of the transcendental truths. Hold on. It is only a beginning, an invitation or prompting to seek a deeper, esoteric discovery of the transcendental truths of existence. And that's what we're doing here today. We're searching out the deeper truths, right? To really get a proper understanding of all these analogies and these rituals and stuff. And something, oh, what was I listening to? Oh, they said something good. I was like, oh, I gotta share this with them. It was right down the tip of my tongue. But we're gonna read it. It's another one of them. After this, it's in I mentioned it yesterday, y'all. Turn it. What's the little small pamphlet about initiates of the flame? Yes, initiates of the flame. We're gonna read that. It's a little small pamphlet. Initiates. I'm gonna post it of the flame. I talked about it a few times, but he said something in there about it was really good about once you go through your religion and you learn the stories and everything, you get the base understanding of the stories. Once you understand that, then you get to go up another level and you begin understanding some spiritual things. And then with the rituals, that's what it was. And he went up another level. He said, after that, he said, then you come into an awareness of what the rituals truly are. And according to the religious books, the rituals, although some people are actually trying to do those rituals like kill animals, he said this was never what was intended. This was never what was intended in the original teachings. You were never supposed to kill an animal. You were never supposed to sacrifice a bull, lamb, sheep, goat, whatever it is, even on the dark side, pigs and all that stuff. He said this was never the case, but it took on this physical form as the truth, as man began to like totally ignore spiritual wisdom. They began to drop to baser and baser levels, like lower and lower, and they couldn't recognize the truth. And what was originally being taught was not the sacrificing of animals. Remember, I kind of understood this while we were reading, we were going through uh, Legends of the Jews. Remember how I was saying, y'all, remember how I kept saying, I was like, y'all, something about these sacrifices not sitting right. And then I began to realize it wasn't the actual sacrificing of the bulls and the animals. It was this bull, this goat, this ox that had to be sacrificed. We're to offer the bulls of our lips. We're to sacrifice and slaughter our own flesh, meaning all the impurities and everything. We were to put them to death so that our spirits could rise to higher heights. But through the process of time, as man began to ignore spiritual wisdom, they began to actually act out some of these analogies and these rituals, killing the animals, which that was a big no-no. Do not, thou shalt not kill, right? And that's man nor beast, right? So everything began to take on a different light. And if they weren't taught this, they just keep pushing garbage from the pulpit, and everybody's doing everything wrong, right? And oh, y'all, your Torah is burnt. Ain't nobody listen. The whole human race is foolish, right? And so now we're reawakening to these type things. And even y'all, it is amazing. We have got to read that. It's like I said, it's a real thin book. I think it goes well. It's a good, like before we read this one, we read what ancient wisdom would have its disciples to know. It's one of those little small booklets like that, which I think would be a really good segue into the next one we're getting into, where it goes into deep detail about the ka and the ba, the spirit and the flesh, and how they work together and how they actually connect to the creator. If y'all need to be here for that. It is so good. Okay, so but after we done reading this, we're going to read that Initiates of the Flame, and it's another thin one that we're going to read right after that. It's a little bit longer. It's going to take us maybe like 2 weeks longer to read that one, but that one is called, and don't get triggered by the word, the Kabbalion. We're going to read the Kabbalion, right? Y'all have to hear what's in there, right? I think it's going to help us tremendously. Now I have both of them. I'll share in the community section and on Facebook the link to Amazon where you can get it. You can get it printed or you can listen to the Audible. They're both on Audible. The Initiates of the Flame is about an hour long. The Kabbalion is 3 hours long. But I'm telling you, there's so much wisdom in those books, and it brings some of the rituals and things that we learn in Christianity to light. Bruh, it's like, whoa, wow. Okay, so Kabbalion. I'll share those with y'all. So we definitely going to read those out loud here. So that's the next 2 books, and I'll put the 3rd book. And the book after that, which talks about the Kanaba, is the 9 Eyes of Light. So I'll update our book reading list, and I'll highlight those in the community section and on Facebook. Okay, because a few times people ask, you got a list that you already read. So every few months I'll repost it with the highlights and stuff. Okay, let's go back. Where we at? 58 minutes. Okay, I'll finish reading this section and we'll pause after this. Okay. Let me go back up just a little bit. In its complete form, religion is composed of 3 aspects: mythology, ritual, and metaphysical or mystical experience, mysticism, mystical philosophy. While many religions contain rituals, traditions, metaphors, and myths, there are few professionals trained in the understanding of their deeper aspects and psychological implications, metaphysics and mystical. Thus, there is disappointment, frustration, and disillusionment among many followers as well as leaders within many religions, particularly in the Western Hemisphere, because it is difficult to evolve spiritually without the proper spiritual guidance. Through introspection and spiritual research, it is possible to discover mythological vistas within religion which can rekindle the light of spirituality and at the same time increase the possibility of gaining a fuller experience of life. The exoteric, outer ritualistic forms of religion with which most people are familiar is only the tip of an iceberg, so to speak. It is only a beginning, an invitation or prompting to seek a deeper, esoteric discovery of the transcendental truths of existence. You got both books? You read them yet, or you listened to them? Exhale. That's so good. The disciplines of yoga fall under five major categories. These are yoga of wisdom, yoga of devotional love, yoga of meditation, tantric yoga, and yoga of selfless action. Within these categories, there are subsidiary forms which are part of the main disciplines. The important point to remember is that all aspects of yoga can and should be used in an integral fashion to effect an efficient and harmonized spiritual movement in the practitioner. Therefore, while there therefore while there may be an era of special emphasis, other elements are bound to become part of the yoga program as needed. For example, while a yogin may place emphasis on the yoga of wisdom, they may also practice devotional yoga and meditation yoga along with the wisdom studies. That's kind of like where I fall in. Like perfectly right there. Okay. So the practice of any discipline that leads to oneness with supreme consciousness or with Yah is called yoga. If you study, rationalize, and reflect upon the teachings, you are practicing yoga of wisdom. If you meditate upon the teachings and your higher self, you are practicing yoga of meditation. If you practice rituals which identify you with your spiritual nature, you are practicing yoga of ritual identification, which is part of the yoga of wisdom and the yoga of devotional love of the divine. If you develop your physical nature and psychic energy centers, you are practicing serpent power or Rat Shakim yoga, which is part of tantric yoga. If you practice living according to the teachings of ethical behavior and selflessness, you are practicing yoga of action, ma'at, in daily life. If you practice turning your attention towards the divine by developing love for the divine, then it is called devotional yoga or yoga of divine love. The practitioner of yoga is called a yogin, male practitioner, or yogini, female practitioner, and one who has attained the culmination of yoga, union with the divine, is called a yogi. In this manner, yoga has been developed into many disciplines which may be used in an integral fashion to achieve the same goal, enlightenment. In this booklet, we will concentrate on the practice of yoga of meditation. Yoga is a tradition which has established a long proven record of success in teaching those who desire to discover the self. And the self is always capitalized when it's talking about the spirit on the inside of us, right? So if you have this book and you wonder why self is in capital letters, it explains that at the very beginning. It's referring to your spirit, the real you on the inside of this fleshly you, right? The traditional, hold on, yoga is a tradition which has established a long proven record of success in teaching those who desire to discover the self. The traditional approach to yoga instruction has been broken up into three stages. These are one, listening, two, reflection, and three, meditation. In a broad sense, you will be instructed in the same manner throughout this book series. First, you will receive the teaching. Then you will be assisted in reflecting on that teaching and incorporating it into your life. Then you will be instructed on how to intensify your reflective moment and gradually reach a meditative state of concentration on the divine. A practitioner of yoga must be able to integrate the main practices of yoga into daily life. This means that you need to begin adding small amounts of time for prayer, repetition of the divine name, hekau, or what we call praying in tongues or chanting, right, or prayer language. Let me go back. This means that you need to begin adding small amounts of time for prayer, repetition of the divine name, Hakau. Exercise includes proper breathing exercises, study of the teachings, silence, selfless service, meditation, and daily reflection. This also means that you will gradually reduce the practices which go against yogic movement as you gain more time for sheti or spiritual practice. And that, my beautiful people, is where we will pause at today. We're going to end right here. So I know that seems like a lot, but as you grow, you'll be able to incorporate these things like naturally. It literally just becomes a part of life. Just like a baby learning how to do things, like you learning how to walk. So it's okay. He's paying attention to everything. It's like one thing at a time, right? You focus on one thing. Then now we walk without thinking, right? Some people sleepwalk, right? And that's how it becomes. It's not like, okay, did I do the meditation today? Did I pray today? Did I pray in tongues today? As you grow and you calm down, you'll realize that you can do all these things simultaneously, unless you're actually sitting down doing some book research. You'll realize that you can carry yourself in a meditative state throughout the day. You can carry that peace with you, all that you've learned from your actual sit down study, research, and prayer time. You'll learn how to do it simultaneously throughout today, so you can walk in a state, what you call it, maybe like a state, what do you say, statefulness, or a spirit of prayer. Like you can, I don't know what's the word. Like you can always be in the mode, in the what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Like you can constantly walk around and be in that state. Not that you're walking around in the zombie, but you're sensitive to the spirit of Yah, right? Because your meditation goes with you. You learn how to pray within. You learn how to talk to Yah within, and it's just like you learn how to do it while you're working and going throughout the day. So you're like always in the zone, so to speak, right? But it takes practice. I still ain't get the word that I was trying to say, but it's like a wakeful awareness state of being in that zone of prayerfulness, meditation. The word is eluding me at the moment, but you can do it if you do it long enough. Because say if you pray in tongues, it's just like praying in tongues for a while, right? If you get to a certain point, your spirit literally begins to pick up the tongue, and it'll take over to where you no longer have to say it with your mouth. You only really need to speak it with your mouth to get your flesh under control. Like you got to give your dog a bone, right? So that's the bone for your dog to keep it busy while you're tuning your spirit. But there comes a point in time, and if you sit there in like a time period, for me, I noticed that it would kick in, that I would pick it up, like I could hear my spirit pick it up and pray at about the 5 hour mark. And I learned that when I was doing my all nights of prayer on like Friday nights, so I would pray in tongues. And I wouldn't just like sit there because I would fall asleep. I tried that. So I would just save all the laundry, some of the stuff that I needed to do, deep cleaning. I would save it for that time to keep myself busy and woke so I could actually benefit from the prayers. And about the 5 hour mark, I would start at midnight, I would end at 6 in the morning. I would literally feel my spirit pick up the language and carry me on. And I could stop praying here, and it would literally carry on all day long. It's like with my physical ears, I can, not on the outside of me, but on the inside of me, I could hear it. I'm like, this is amazing. Like I could talk to people and it would still be going on the inside. And I was like, this is amazing what happens here. Have y'all tried this? And what happens when that happens, when your spirit takes over, your spiritual eyes open, I began to experience some of the wildest things when it happens. I would, like, things in the spiritual realm would manifest right before my eyes. I would see things happen before it happened. I would hear things. I can hear people far away, right? If somebody's coming, I can literally hear them. If they were coming to me, I could hear them coming to me. I could hear them entering into this. It is crazy what happens. I'm not sure. I don't know. I just know that what happens to me. I know some people, they say the same thing. I don't know. Maybe it's specific gifts. I don't know. It's just your spiritual senses open. And I think it happens for everybody who gets to that point, right? So I'm like, there is something to this. This is amazing. I got to see this thing all the way through. What's really going on, right? So, but yeah, you can literally walk in that wakefulness, that state of spirituality, whatever you want to call it, but it can be turned on like all the time, right? And you have to protect that, right? And you protect that by a pure and holy and clean living life. Not that you're not gonna make mistakes. You will, but when you recognize it, you will get it right. You don't constantly like sin on purpose and do things that goes against your growth, so to speak. A state of being, a Hebrew word that describes it, ashari. Did I say that right? Ashri, ash. Look, you got to put like dashes to make sure I pronounce it right. Ashri. It's the word blessed in Psalms 1. Okay, thank you for that. All right, y'all. But that is it for today. I done just rambled on a little bit, but hopefully it was informative rambling, right? Let me put my page on here, 95 to yeah, that's right. One page. Let me put this on. Hey girl, hey. You ready to come in the video, huh? Let me put my page number 64 right here. Okay, y'all. Well, anywho, thank y'all for hanging out today. I'm gonna put my mark right here. I'm gonna remember to share that with y'all. So it is Wednesday, May the 4th, 2022, day 99 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1117. We read pages 59 through 64 in Oahspe and pages 95 to 96 in the meditation book, An Ancient Egyptian Path to Enlightenment. Don't let the words and pictures trigger you. And you're welcome, Robin. You're welcome. She said, thank you for sharing these wonderful teachings. You're welcome. All right, y'all. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here and watch shortly. I'm gonna post the in the community section and on Facebook the books and the 3 books that I mentioned that we're gonna read next. All right. Y'all, and I still ain't posted. I'm gonna post a few things today. Trina said, Bells, love your hair. Thank you. It's still some pictures and stuff. I still ain't shared with y'all that thing I was gonna share with you about the tongue, right? It's real good. Hopefully I get it shared today. I gotta type some stuff up with it so you can see. But I'm gonna reshare some of those things that I've seen from some of the teachings of the course that I have. I can reshare some of the stuff that they've already posted that I wanted to share. But I need to type up a little blurb so you can understand it. But it's a lot of different pictures on how the temples were created mimicking our bodies. And then there's pictures that highlight like the tongue, like the pharaohs, the different head wraps and stuff, or crowns and stuff that they would wear. And you'll see. I'm gonna post some of that stuff so you can see. But when you see it, you're not gonna be able to unsee it. And everything that they've created was to teach you about the body or the temple that houses our spirit. Guys, it's so good. So I'm gonna get some of that stuff shared with y'all today and over the next few days, because it's a lot. And I even have my own stuff I can with the courses that I have. I just need to make sure I give proper credit to the right places, right? Okay. So with that being said, y'all, thank y'all for hanging out, and may y'all continue to bless all of us as we go throughout this earth school, right? And may none of us be aborted early or get kicked out of class early. Keep on growing so we can graduate to the next level. All right, y'all. I love y'all. See y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Go ahead and end it, Tootie. Ooh, girl, you almost passed the warm out right there. Yep. All right. Go ahead and end it, too. Bye, y'all.